I blame.
Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds, and I'm hanging out with my favorite nerds.
Nathan Nerdarch.
Nerdarch is dead.
Or at least these guys anyway.
I figured he'd amend that because there's no way I'm one of his favorite nerds.
Absolutely.
That was too nice. That was too nice. It was like
absolutely one of my favorite nerds, Ted. Don't make me come hug you. We'll do it.
You say that because the camera's rolling.
I'll hug you until your spine snaps.
There you go.
Oh man, guys, how is everyone this fine Saturday afternoon? It's actually a little warm in New Jersey now.
Yes,
after our cold snap.
Yeah, it's not
quite happy about that.
So we got Comrade, we got Elfbait out there, we got Vex. Frigginator came in to say he's not going to be here. Nice, welcome one and all.
Thanks for the call in.
Yeah,
you will not be fired.
It's a big, it's a big week. Me and Ted watched our first full episode
of Critical Role.
Not together,
no,
separately, but I got my wife to watch it with me, and she was digging it because she's like, I was in that room, but they didn't have that table then.
That table was pretty sweet.
The table is pretty sweet, and she's like, is 7 people a lot to run a game with? I'm like, I guess it depends, but
they've been running with each other long enough. They probably can deal with that many people easily.
Yeah, they've been going for quite a few years now, both off camera and on. So yeah. So yeah, that was cool. We got to check that out. So we're going to start a new series, actually. We're going to start not this coming week, but the following. So this way it has time to go up on YouTube. And not because we watched it on Project Alpha, and then I think you can watch it on Twitch as well if you're a subscriber to Geek and Sundry.
We have requests for no spoilers.
Oh yeah, we're not going to tell you what happened. There will be plenty of spoilers when we review it, though. Yeah, when we actually talk about it, like we're not doing it on the live chat today, but when we actually shoot a video about it, and we'll tell you, if you don't want spoilers, you should probably get the fuck out. Because I hate talking about things and not talking about without talking about the thing.
Or if you still need to watch them talk, you can at least just mute it.
So what we're saying is, if you are a critter or you want to watch Critical Role and then come back and listen to our review, that's what you're going to need to do.
Review, recap, talk about, discuss, whatever. But like I said, today we're going to film that, but we're not going to put it up next week. We'll put it up the following week
because we want to make sure that it.
So you guys will have at least a couple days to check it out. And then if you fall behind, then you're screwed. You might accidentally get spoiled.
If you are forced to watch us before you watch that.
Yeah. There's that. So that was cool. So, it was definitely 3.5 hours of D&D-ish.
Well, we'll talk more about it in there. But if you could chop a good solid 15 minutes off either end, I think.
Yeah, a little bit, I guess. It happens. Production stuff. I think
while they probably don't have such a problem dealing with 7 PCs or whatever, however many they have, getting everybody at the table to play isn't that easy, even when it's like production style, I would think. Trying to get everybody live to do something.
I don't know. It seemed like they had it down when we were out there.
Sometimes they put that leeway time.
Yeah.
Sometimes
it's actually to get the people to show up on Twitch. And
that makes sense.
And it's for the audience. More so to show up.
It is cool that they have that built-in commercial breaks.
Oh yeah. They have the break in there. Well, that's pretty common for Twitch channels that live stream for long gameplays.
I really like that about when we went down to Think Geek for the Halloween game where they had commercial breaks. I was like, oh great, I can
pay
facilities and not be trying to RP this character for 3 hours without a bathroom break.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's pretty standard for longer games like that when they do them on Twitch. Most people build in breaks where there's a cut scene to take the break or whatever, especially if you're going for like 3 hours or more.
Mm-hmm. That is, doing a 3-hour one is tough without a break. But
so apparently it's warm in Anchorage, Alaska now. Warmer than average.
It was nice to see all the snow melting out, and in the yards and the fields.
Well, we got a lot of rain the other day, so that kind of that washed it all away. Nothing gets rid of snow faster than rain. That's the way to go. Then you just have to worry about the temperature dropping and everything freezing. But since it stayed warm, we really didn't have to worry about that too much. Yay! So D&D, man, anybody got some D&D going on? this weekend?
We got my game tonight, which I'm excited about. Got what are we, session 39, 40, somewhere in that general vein.
When the lads all get back from PAX South, we'll have Saver Dice will be back on next week, and I actually get to level up Worm.
What level is he now?
He's going to be level 6, I believe.
Are you going straight single class?
Oh yeah, he's an artificer, so he'll get his construct. Next level is construct level.
Nice.
So he's been working on his giant crayfish. So although it's gonna be weird with the campaign. Sorry. The campaign we're playing, because a lot of times there's like subterfuge and subtlety, and we have to sneak around. I don't know how I'm going to sneak around my giant crayfish. I should have went with a giant snake, because I think I can put that in my bag of holding.
You're going to have to quest for a rubber tree and oil it up really nice. So it's like pad the gears.
Yeah, they won't hear it coming, but it's a giant freaking crayfish made of shiny metal. I think that's going to stand out.
Shh, I'll be right back.
Just please call it your apparatus or something like that. Because do you have like a in your voice that might be pretty good?
Oh yeah.
Crayfish apparatus.
Yeah, that would be cool if you let me build, like I could get inside it.
Oh yeah. I don't know how big it can be.
It's large, and I'm small.
Yeah, build a cockpit. Whatever you'd call that, and you put it in a crayfish.
Right in it like a tank.
Pretty much. Viking Mare just started, right? Never done this before. Well, welcome. And I don't know. It's like our other live chats, except for all three of us in one place.
Yeah, we're like 5 minutes in, so you're right on time.
Yeah, perfect. So Chief and Nerdarchy Doug playing with Zareth. Tomorrow, new campaign. Woohoo! I wonder if that's a Dragonlance. He'd been talking about doing Dragonlance.
Well, it's good to see you getting some games in, Doug.
Yeah, he's all over the place. He's going to be running one soon. I don't know if that's a secret or not. I won't say any more in case I don't want to spoil for Doug. Doug has to give me the release notes.
So we got your game next weekend.
My game next weekend.
There is a slight twist in the announced fan game that I'm running. I'm unavailable the day I initially said I was going to do it, so it's actually going to be next Sunday, not the last Sunday of the month.
That's funny. There's a slight twist. I won't be there.
You'll have to RP me, RPing the game.
Yeah.
I'll get a fill in.
No,
I'm gonna do it on the 21st as opposed to the 28th. And be on the lookout. I might be down a player, so looking either.
Did it mess everything up when you had to switch?
No. I realized it before I sent the initial email. So.
Oh, okay. So you switched it in the email.
I switched it in the email before it went out. So
okay, so only the people who announced it and heard their name would be like, "Oh, I thought it could be available for it."
Yes,
gotcha.
But I mean, we typically have lots of people that don't respond in any way, shape, or form to that initial. So,
and how can they fix that, Ted?
Make sure that the email you sign up for with the newsletter or for Patreon is the most
you actually use.
Yeah, make sure it's something you actually use and check. And this way, when we email you, you'll know.
Thanks, Virgilio. I actually saw the question. We're going to definitely get to that. But if you do have questions, by putting question in front of it, tagging us also helps as well. But putting question in front of it lets us know it's a question for us. Viking Mare, what does Nerdarchy think of West Marches? We literally watched. I think this is one of the few actual games I've actually watched was Critical Role last night in its entirety. I've watched. That's not true. I've watched a few others. I watched a bunch of the Provokers. I've watched some other ones. Conceptually, I like the West March style of gameplay. It's definitely it's not new. Like Hexcrawl has been around. I remember playing it when I was a teen.
Now, isn't the West Marches, and again, I think I've only seen like bits and pieces of it. Isn't that the one where like the DM just prepares material and the players try to survive through it? It's not a ongoing.
No, it's ongoing, but it's on the ItMeJP channel, and the idea is it's a hex crawl. So you have a map of hexes, right? overland travel, and you just go from hex to hex exploring
and encounter whatever is there.
Now, I'm not familiar with our specific game, but that doesn't mean you can't have like a goal or an overarching story. But it just means like it's a lot of overland travel. It's going to be a lot of random stuff, and I think they do a lot of like random, like everything is random tables. Actually, is how they were doing it before, and the DM was like really good at that.
And now I know more about West Marches than I ever have.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I didn't look at it because I'm not interested. It does sound pretty cool. I like the randomized table. I've played like the dungeons where you just like go around. Where was it? Is this mat? I'm trying to remember. It's like a download somewhere where you can like roll the dice on the computer and it just like shifts you around this dungeon crawl. And it's really convoluted because I think it's based off of some of the old dungeon crawl tables for D&D. So, but it was pretty neat. So it kind of reminds me of that. It's nice. That's a nice way to play stuff every once in a while. Just have random stuff, and everybody's got to deal with the randomness of it.
Yeah, we were on our special item quest. Like, so there was an adventure designed to like give the players each an item that was designed for them. But part of that was we had to do a bunch of overland traveling, and it was like a hex crawl. So literally, it was literally, where you guys go next? Well, we do these hexes because you can move X amount of hexes in a day, and depending on random encounter rolls and stuff like that. It's actually, I believe that was the adventure that gave me my deep-seated fear of and respect for flying squirrels. Yeah, I totally got fucked up by flying squirrels. They were like blood-sucking flying squirrels in an evil forest.
Vampiric, fiendish flying squirrels.
Yeah, like it was wintertime. You had to be like all bundled up, and it was the middle of the night, so you weren't wearing armor, and they're like dropping out of the trees, and they're like on you, and you're like stabbing yourself trying to get rid of them. Next thing you know, you're rolling around on the ground with like half a dozen squirrels on you, sucking your blood. Good old days.
All right, vampire flying squirrel, next nemesis of one of our games.
Yeah, or just
I'm a spirit guardian those suckers to death right away.
Yeah,
like boom.
Or just replace them at Vargles.
Oh man.
Shallender, I remember a dungeon adventure that had a mechanical beholder that could be piloted, and the eye stalks were wands that could be triggered by the pilot. I vaguely remember that as well. That sounds like it's right up your alley, Nate. And also, didn't Acquisitions Inc. do something similar? They were like, they had when they were flying around in this like giant beholder head.
I definitely recall seeing a picture of like somebody riding inside a mechanical beholder.
Yeah, the Acquisitions Inc. team, they were using it. And I think they were like using it for a burrowing machine through the earth.
That's pretty cool. I like involvement because I grew up playing Final Fantasy games, so like things like apparatus like that and like flying ships. That's kind of a cool thing that I'd like to see in games. But you can't overdo it, or it changes the entire way the world works. I think so. They got to be super special, or you have to be like an Eberron, I guess, like an Eberron style game.
In Dave's game, like the Goblos have an apparatus of Qualsh. We just
haven't used it yet. They had it packed away.
Like it's big. It's not like we're carrying it along with us. It's in the house.
It's like their gaming furniture. They just sit on it when they want to play cards. They'd be like, "Here, hold this, Claws. Thank you."
They found Amelia. I forget the last name. It's like
Amelia Earhart.
No, Amelia Von something. Like her dead son or husband's in it. Oh man. So there's a lot of chatter going on in the chat. There was a question that I kind of glossed over. I lost it because I was trying to see if there was any questions before that. I have the first session of the year Monday, and the DM gave us 3 levels to play with. I'm level 12. Sure, thinking of dipping Warlock. What patron is y'all's favorite recommended? Yeah, I don't really have a favorite. Like, it depends on what character I want to play.
Like everybody says, like the ancients or like the Fey Pact is the weakest. But like I like nature enough, like that there's a lot of RP angles that you could go with from that. But for not knowing anything about what the other 12 levels are, what's going on in the game, like I'd have to know more about that stuff in order to be able to give you a solid recommendation. That's what I'm looking for.
I think the next Warlock if I play a Warlock, it's going to be the Undying Light guy. Is he in Xanathar? I'm trying to remember.
He might be in Skag.
It's okay.
He is in Skag.
The books are mashing together for me.
It's not in Xanathar guy. We just did that one today.
Okay.
And it's the Celestial and Hexblade. I played a Hexblade for a short session. So I like that. I like the Celestial. I like the Hexblade. I like the Great Old One. I like the Fiendish.
You don't like the Fae?
I like the Fae.
Oh, okay.
I was the one that came up with the idea for the Palak that was for Fae and Oath of Ancients.
Yeah, I actually made that character.
Yeah, I like the idea of like the Earl King being your patron, and also the guy you swear your oath to. So,
yeah, I think with Warlocks though, it's more about how much fun you're going to have with the character. I don't know the suite of abilities, and just it's not like. It's more jack of all trades or like a specific style of play that you want to do, I think, with Warlocks rather than like, picking the power specifically for their in-game, like, personally, battle purposes,
Like, personally, I think the Warlock is kind of weak as shit compared to the other classes anyway.
That's the Dave translation of what I was trying to say.
And so thematically, I like the Warlock. I've played several now. I think I've made up like 3 or 4 of them at this point and played at least 3 of them. So thematically, I like it. The Warlock's just weak. If it's not weak, it's like I'm going to do the same thing over and over again.
You're the Eldritch Brass Star of the world, yeah.
Yeah, so if it's not weak, it's boring.
I played a Warlock in the Spelljammer game, and that was multiple sessions. My Sorcerer dipped into Warlock for Scott's game, and then for 2 sessions I played a Paladin, the Palak, Ancients, Fey Pact. So not a huge amount all told, because it was probably 10 sessions or less of playing it, but it's been mixed with other stuff.
Yeah. I guess the short answer is, if you're going to level 20, think about what style of character you want to play for 20 levels worth of gameplay. Like rather than thinking, oh well, I like these abilities in this one. It's like, what kind of presence do you want at the table for the 20 levels of play?
Well, I mean, you're 12. To answer his specific question, your 12th level. What are you? Are you looking for a role playing angle of the Warlock, or is there a mechanical benefit that you're looking to add in, to complement your suite of abilities?
Or as a partial storyline where you've made a mistake and you like made a deal with the devil kind of situation, and you're taking those 3 levels, but they're also coming at a cost of you're kind of beholden to this thing that you might not want, or you're like jumping right in, like a dragon god that has asked you, hey, you want to be part of my team? And you're like, yes, sign me up, kind of thing. Like, so what's the situation as well?
Yeah, so it just comes down to what kind of character you want to play. Like, now, if you ask me what's my favorite pack boon, like, that's easy. Tome is the best, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
But as far as like patron, I could go with any of them and have fun. That is actually one of the things. And then it's like you could stop at level 3 and be done with Warlock, because you get the cantrips and you get the best ritual casting in the game. So. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, and then maybe then you might want to go another spellcaster to like really double down on having a higher caster level, so you get more spells to cast. But Jonathan wants to know, he's in sunny Florida, but that's not what he wants to know. Have you guys ever read the original Anti-Paladin rules for the Dragon magazine, or just used the current Oathbreaker? We're just using the current Oathbreaker, I think, in our games. I have read it, but I probably read it a long time ago.
No, they're talking like the original Anti-Paladin for 5th, or you're talking like the original?
He said Dragon Magazine. Dragon Magazine. That's true.
Yeah. I remember 2nd edition game we played with an Anti-Paladin, so I'm pretty sure that was the one from
the Dragon Magazine.
Yeah,
it was
because it was still kind of like not official. It felt like
it was weird. It was about poison and being kind of cowardly, and
I don't recall enough about it. I just remember that the particular player was pretty like the player playing the character all together between their actions and their powers were pretty fierce.
Yeah, it was devastating if I remember correctly.
It's because it's not really supposed to be a player character anyway.
yeah. It's like, here's the DM's nastiness. Before, they fixed that with giving you legendary actions and giving you layer effects as a villain if you, for different things like liches and vampires and stuff. So they fixed that on the back end by saying you either have legendary actions or you don't.
So Michael Fox wants to know, how often have exhaustion rules come into play? Do you find stages not used very often? If so, do you have a fix for using them more? So
be careful with exhaustion, because it's like you've got 6 hit points, and every time you take a damage, you're one step closer to being dead. Because at 6, you're pretty much dead.
No, at 6 you are dead, and at 5 you can't do anything.
Yeah, so you can't. The last 2, you've got 6 hit points. When you're at 2, you can't do anything about losing more hit points. You're just probably going to lose them and die. So not a good situation to be in. You only have like a little tiny step up and step down.
If you're looking at using them for effects outside of combat, you can do a lot with them. I know I played a session where they actually came up, but all it takes is, okay, we've survived this. Now we can rest the condition away and move on.
Yeah, I haven't used it very much. I mean, one of my more recent sessions, I made them make heat exhaustion checks, and they would have gotten a level exhaustion, but it was the first one. They're higher level characters, so it was an easy DC, and they did not succumb.
But I would look at, playing in that first 3. Those first 3 levels, that's the fun spot. Once you start going past that, it's just too close to death.
So the first 3 is going to make an interesting complication or hazards for combats. Beyond that is a bit overkill.
Yes. Succinct.
So do what you want to do. Have a blast. And by the way, guys, at some point we're going to be announcing next month's giveaway. So we have a stack over there somewheres.
Off over here. You can't see my hand, but
yeah, we've delved back into the Dragon's Hoard and pulled forth some stuffs. Ian has a question: can Hexblade Warlocks carry their patron on their person? It's actually changed a little bit, where it's more like your patron is an unknown entity through the Shadowfell that may or may not actually empower sentient, intelligent, powerful artifact magic weapons,
or be the Raven Queen.
Or be the Raven Queen. Or it could possibly
she made them.
It could possibly be like, or it could possibly be like Black Razor. But they kind of removed that it's actually the weapon itself, which I thought was weird anyway. Like somewhere there's a sword that is granting power to a bunch of people. Like, Black Razor, when it's not in its sheath, because it's like, because Warduke's got it or whatever. When he goes to sleep, it sneaks off and grants Warlock packs with people. It's just weird to me. I mean, if they would have built it around you get a weapon, it becomes your packed weapon, and that gets more powerful as you advance, that would work better for me than there's an item out there somewhere is granting packs.
I guess it's just how you view the weapon's reach, I guess. That's beyond the just physical shell.
It's usually 5 foot.
Thank you, Ted. You did not disappoint. Yeah, so if Black Razor has a metaphysical level ability that reaches into the planes of existence and stuff like that, beyond what its shell is, then it's almost like a demigod in a sense, in its own right.
Right, except for if you look at the artifacts, none of them are that powerful.
Well, the crystal shard from the books. I don't know if it ever had stats done up, but the crystal shard should be able to give a Warlock pack out. It's pretty insane.
Crescenobon?
Yeah. Thanks. You did not disappoint again, but I'm kind of miffed that you had to bring up the name. Yes, so 10 nerd points again for Ted. He's up to 20 so far. So yeah, something like that, I could see that being something that could give out Warlock packs. I mean, it gives out powers, so it pretty much gave you Warlock levels in a sense, right?
I could
I'm
definitely
skeptical.
I could definitely see Crescendabon, but
One person, they can give out a Warlock patron to one person, the person carrying it. But then that creates
That's-
other problems. Like you can't give that out at third level or first level. You know, you can't be carrying it. So
Well, maybe it's locked away, or
That-
it means its powers
that's
unlocked.
that's why it falls into like Crescendabon and the dude who was with him. That was the bad guy. That wasn't the good guy.
he definitely was not the good guy. Well, but you know, it just speaks to D&D is just not good at certain concepts. And that's kind of one of them. Like certain concepts you just can't do from the beginning. You have to work into it. So it's just weird.
Is what it is.
I have no idea if we answered this question.
Do you want to be able to carry around your patron?
Yeah. I'm like, I just think, you carrying around Mab with you in your pocket or whatever.
Pocket Mab.
Yeah, like that's what it is the equivalent. It's like, can you like carry around your demon patron with you? I don't think so.
Maybe it's just the way
look,
the
Feral
demon
King.
gets into the world. Like if it's what was it, that crazy artifact that we had in Johnny's game where it was like the pinky nail of some demon like reaching into our dimension, and that just happened to be took the form of this scimitar.
So I have one way that I would be like, okay, you could do this. If that artifact like item were to be sundered, right? And its power was dispersed amongst a bunch of people, but then it almost like at that point is barely sentient, you know, in my mind. Or maybe it is. Maybe it's like this hive collective. Then I can see like the fragments like living in people and growing like a parasite.
Mm.
And is there room for a neutral alignment? Yeah, actually, you could be any alignment with any Warlock pack. That's actually one of the cool things about a Warlock.
And
It's kind of dark, but you don't actually have to be dark.
and it actually doubles down on that, you know, in Xanathar's guide. It tells you like, okay, you can be in a Warlock pact with something that's evil, and you can still be a good character. And it's how you handle the actions and the requests of your patron and whatnot that determine how closely you stay to that alignment.
Doug has a good question. Could a battle master piloting an apparatus of Kouash use maneuvers with the weapon attacks of it? I may actually find out in my game at some point. Because one of the Gobblos does have levels of battle master. I would allow it, but you know, there's a lot of things I don't really worry that much about.
It passes the rule of cool for me, so
I wouldn't see why not.
That's just a list, I guess.
So Bards in the Basement question. One of the first Nerdarchy videos I found was the world building on Griffin Gaff, high concepts, deities, and etc. Any plans to do more of these?
Maybe.
I would actually really be thankful if we were to spend some time either on or off camera getting our deities all, you know, put down and in place, because truth be told, I think I can name 3 that are in our world that are unique to it, and a handful that are from our previous, but that's about it.
Yeah, we just like kind of get lazy and just steal from the old world and pull them in. We need a god name. This will work.
Well, we're taking our own advice under advisement. We're just stealing from our past selves.
Steal where you can, and when you already created it, it's not really stealing.
So here's the thing. If you guys would all watch those videos, share them, like them, comment on them, we'd be more likely to do them. A lot of our direction that we go in is determined by is us reacting to the audience. Like if we do this video and we think it's cool, but you guys are like, whatever, and like
500 people watch it.
Yeah, it's like we didn't even do a video. So it's like, and so that's kind of one of the things that helps us pick what topics. I mean, we probably should go back to doing more world building anyway, just because. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem like you guys actually want us to.
So, like, you know, we really like coming up with the creative stuff, like, you know, our Fast and Dirty and our Mage Forges. Like, those are some of my favorite videos to do.
But they were the worst performing.
They don't perform well on YouTube. So I don't know.
Yeah, so we still sneak some of those in. We just don't do as many. And it's like, and the other thing too, it's not just about the views, but the views speak to something larger. They tell us what the audience actually wants to watch. So it's like, well, we could make these videos that we like doing, or we can make videos that you guys like, so we kind of get torn. So we do more of what we think you guys like, and then we sneak in some of our old stuff, or our own stuff that we really like, kind of like geeking out on as well.
Every so often.
Yeah. And also there's the other thing too, that like when you do a video and it doesn't perform as well with YouTube, they kind of knock you down a peg in the algorithm as well. So if we do a bunch of those videos, then that'll send a message to YouTube themselves saying that the content that we're putting out isn't relevant and the audience isn't interested. So they won't show our videos to people. So that would it could actually shrink our channel if we do that, and we would take a hit that way as well.
And that's not good.
So, yeah. So it's a weird spot between, doing what we like doing creative stuff, and also, doing what our audience wants. But, any area in D&D we can pretty much talk about, and we're still enthused and have a good time with.
Absolutely.
I should have brought some water over here.
I could sneak off and get you some.
I can get it myself. Remember when we used to have Kyle? What's about that? Elfbait has a question. Any suggestions for using Hag? Hag is a big bad for tier 1 to early tier 2 play. Yes, quest givers. Hags are awesome quest givers, in my opinion.
You did a really good Hag with the Scarlet Sisterhood.
Yeah, it's still ongoing. They're terrified of the Hags. They're like, they're like torn between min-maxing and metagaming, and they're just Hags. We can take them, and I don't think they're regular Hags.
Well, that's the great thing about putting an adversary in early that's beyond the scope of the characters in the offset, and yet you had a trio, right?
Yeah, trio Hags.
So that's going to be a lot for a low-level adventuring party to deal with. And like then they wind up having to make a bargain with them. So it's like, all right, this is not cool. Like for the players are not happy. So at one point in time, they're gonna want to get those memories back. But if they're afraid, well, if I kill them, are the memories gone? How do I get them
forever?
back?
Yeah.
So you've got this awesome juxtaposition of, can this happen or not?
Maybe you just have to trade some human children for it. And you get your memories back.
But I have a hard time believing that those characters would actually wind up doing that.
They'll try and murder the Hags on the spot, probably if they're like that. I don't know.
I mean, you could do fun things like a child goes missing, right? And you're like, well, not a child, but like a young teen or tween goes missing, and they investigate, and then they discover that, oh, the child was actually replaced by a hag, is a hag, or becoming a hag. And that, maybe the idea is they can't defeat the hags, but maybe they can look for a cure or come up with a way to try and, not have this child fully turn into a hag. So you could start adventuring from there. Again, the Volo's Guide has a great section on the hags, which I read since I started using them. And like hags are really fascinating in a sense that they don't actively go out of their way to do evil in the world. They wait for people to come to them and then let the evil happen. Like everyone knows dealing with a hag is a bad idea, yet mortals will always do it anyway. And they know this, so they know they don't have to do anything. And they might hang out in an area, until they finally get run off. And they just wait. Time is on their side. Someone will need something bad enough, and they will come and bargain with the hags. And you always lose the bargain with the hag. So in that sense, you could have NPCs that get involved with the hags, and maybe, they then beseech the players, or like, I made a mistake. This is terrible. Can you help me? And then they go and talk to the hags. And maybe, who knows what could happen from there.
The players are forced to make a bargain to make up for.
They don't have to be forced to make a bargain. They could be tempted to make bargains.
Yeah.
That's what I'm.
They feel like they need to write something.
The players could make a bargain to undo the previous bargain. That the payment from the players is going to be greater than what the payment from the NPC is. which just begets further problems.
Right. So, and even if they don't do any, even if no bargains are able to happen, then you can still have like this great role-playing session, and they still have to figure out how to break the bargain with the hag. And that could be a series of adventures of itself. And maybe every once in a while they have to go back to the hags for a reason, or maybe it is a bargain that they think they can live with, like the hags send them on a quest or a mission and they have to do something. And if they complete this, the hag will let this person go. Right. And they get back and they're ready to, the hags are like, we're absolutely going to release this person. But then they get back to the town and found the person's like committed suicide or something really horrible, because the hags are probably going to win. And then like 10 later, they can come back and whoop their asses or something.
Yeah. Against regular people, the hags are pretty much going to be able to run all over the place in a sense, like defeating people killing themselves, people getting the bad bargains. It's like the player's job to kind of like write that if they can manage it without getting corrupted by them themselves.
And then Doug's also saying that on the website there's a bunch of out of the box encounters involving hags and fae. Then also DM Steve says on his channel they've got they're on session 27 tonight. The party is in the lair of the Hags coven that they have been having issues with since session 8. So there's definitely ways to use them. And then someone else I think pointed out that WebDM has a video out on Hags as well. I know Jim Davis is a huge fan of Hags, so you can check that out as well.
It's a lot of resources.
And I believe they do get bonuses when they're in a coven together.
Oh yeah,
they cast like certain spells or
they get stronger.
Mm-hmm. That was a question by Greg Mortley.
So do we want to show off stuff?
Oh yeah, why not? And then we have a question from Brian Smith.
All right, so I know it's not the 50K giveaway, but so first week of February we'll announce who's actually getting this. From Nord, we've got the Hobgoblin Orc Encounter Builder cards.
Thank you, Nord Games.
From Dungeons and Doodles, you've got some artwork pack.
Thank you from those guys as well.
To kind of go along with the Plane Shift Ixalan that's just come out. There is the X Marks the Spot adventure that was. I'd grabbed one at PAX on PAX Unplugged, and a copy of Tomb of Annihilation because it's awesome.
And we can deface this stuff if you like.
So one lucky winner that is either a patron or has
filled out the form and mailed it to Ted
and mailed it out to our PO box. That thing is on the website. You can go.
Contest rules is in the main header menu thing. Just click on that and you can get all the information.
Absolutely.
So Brian Smith has a question. I joined a group of all first timers, but the DM is reluctant to have any permadeath. Boo. Any suggestions on how to get drama in combat when we know we won't die? Well, so there could be other consequences other than dying. Like, can the NPCs die? Can people like the characters that care about die? And I mean, if the DM isn't willing to implement any of this, it won't matter. Can bad stuff still happen to the characters, like curses and diseases and illness and that kind of stuff?
Lost limbs.
Can you guys have your stuff stolen, broken, that kind of stuff? Maybe. But basically that's the only ways I would think of adding tension if there's no real direct threat for the players themselves. There has to be something at risk in the combat for you guys, for that drama to be there. So if it's not from you personally, then it has to be from something you're personally invested in.
Yeah, some irreplaceable thing that you want to protect.
So I would talk to your GM and have a conversation. Say, look, this is something that is important to me, and if I can't die, what about these other things? And if as a group you can come to terms with something that's going to make everybody happy, then that'd be great.
We already know Ted could kill one of our characters, so every combat now I'm kind of worried.
Why is that? Because you dropped a couple times?
Yeah. Oh, almost every combat recently I've dropped.
I don't feel I don't feel good unless I drop a character to combat. It's so hard to die in 5e anyway. So I feel like dropping a character makes it feel a little bit easier.
We had an NPC die, and all that was required was whether they were on the ground, and area effect spells did the rest pretty much. And that was like almost beyond control because they were effects that happened when things either died or moved or something like that. So there was explosions happening around this person that was on the ground, and they're going to take the damage, which means they're going to fail a death save.
If they're down, it's 2.
Yeah, so imagine when we were fighting a death tyrant, if we got knocked off our mount, got knocked unconscious. Well, we were going to be at our last death save on the ground, pretty much.
Because you would have fallen 70 feet.
Yeah, so that's the kind of stuff that's like, yep, you're one roll, a 50-50 chance roll away, pretty much, of losing that character. So, knocking people down doesn't necessarily, like, you can be really close by having that occur. I guess is what I'm saying.
Somebody asked about the new subclasses, and I forget who, but yes, we're doing a video. It should go up Monday. We usually put those up the Monday after they come out, so we'll be doing that. So
they typically come out on a Monday. We film Fridays and Saturdays, so we don't have the ability to just look at it and go live right then and there.
Well, we do, but that's not what we do. None of our videos are live. that we pre-record.
Right.
It was live when we shot it.
It was live when we shot it. Because technically we went live today.
Well, yes, but those are live chats as opposed to our regular videos that we talk about that stuff.
It was Timothy asked about the new Wizard Invention School of Magic. We have some fun with that one. That's kind of interesting. I think we have some mixed feelings on that one. Steve Waterman, way past time for an Elric movie. An Elric movie would be freaking amazing. And if you like Elric, then you'd probably like Malice Darkblade from the Fantasy Warhammer series. He's a dark elf, and he very much reminds me of that character.
Brian Smith, so Volo's first name is Marco? Really? Or are you just joking around? You messing with us in chat?
I think he's making fun of Marco Polo.
Yeah, but now I want to.
Although that would be kind of funny.
That would be funny.
It's Volothamp.
Volothamp?
Yeah, the Volo is a shortened.
Yeah, Volothamp. I thought was his first name.
All right, I'm with you, Brian Smith. I think that would be way cooler if it was Marco Volo.
All right, I think I've refound my place.
In the chat or the world or
yes, all of the above.
Dave has achieved ultimate peace.
On the mountaintop. Michael Fox, any Griffin Gaff live play coming up soon? I'm hoping next weekend. This week I'm going to put up a Star Wars game just because it's easier for me to put up. There's this great mishap that happened with one of Ted's games, and there's like 50 files I have to sort through and put together for that live.
There really
play.
Shouldn't be sorting. It should just be combining.
Well, yeah, but you combine them, but you have to do a cut before and after each one of those files in order to get them into the right place. I'll send it to you. You can do it.
I volunteered. I said, I would do that, but I just didn't know how. Now I need your computer, and because that's where the software is.
So that's the thing. I have to there's that one thing that's kind of like holding us up, and it's me looking at all those files going, I don't want to do this.
So send your emails to nerdarchy@gmail.com if you want, the next session of my campaign.
I think next week. It's going to be next week. I'm going to actually do it. Now the holidays are out of the way and whatnot, and we are getting back onto a more regular schedule for gaming. So yeah, my game's all up to date,
including the all except for the missing episode.
There's actually several missing episodes for my game. My game has had the worst luck. There's been two. I think there's two missing episodes. One, the sound was botched, and another one, just half the episode was missing. So, Jigger GM. what are your thoughts on character death? Then using that same character in another game. That's a good question for Mark.
In another game, totally fine. I've had different iterations of different character of the same character in different games, and it's like cross levels and all kinds of things.
Like I don't know. I'm a little torn on this one. Like, there's part of me, if a character has died and you want to use that exact character somewhere else, you know, same story, same levels, you know, same everything. I'm a little torn. I would want to make some kind of change to it to say that this is somebody else, give it a different backstory, give it a different name, so that you don't feel that same thing, or you get mixed up with, oh, well, that happened in such and such.
Give them a Warlock pact or Shadow Sorcerer levels. Be like, I've come back.
Yeah, I feel like I've always got so many ideas for the next character. That's like, time to move on. It wasn't meant to be.
I've got one actual 5th edition game that I'm playing in regularly, and I've got like 4 characters that I want to play, and I'm like, come on, you know, and none of them are going to be like, oh, these are great one shots. No, I want to play a campaign with these things.
That is the tough part. So many ideas, not enough time.
Okay, so for Eric Hansen, Nerdarchy, I found your Gamma World game. You all look like you were having super fun. Why so short of a run of that series, and would you bring it back?
We would absolutely play Gamma World again. That particular DM style is to run, you know, 3, 5, 7. You know, that's his typical run of sessions. So he's like, all right, this is the story arc. Once we're done, pile it up, move on to the next game.
And you do get through a lot of stories that way.
Yeah, and I guess what we were doing with those games is using them as an opportunity to highlight different systems, different games, different styles of play. So in that sense, it was kind of really good for that. And you know, Scott's moved on from gaming at our table for now, so he's got other things going on in his life. So unfortunately, we don't have that, and he was awesome for that, because the guy had so much knowledge when it came to tabletop, or still does have so much knowledge when it comes to tabletop RPGs and so many systems. And he would read systems so fast. I don't even know how he'd get through, because I know he works like 12-hour days at work on top of that as well. And he's really involved with the church, you know, his church community and his family and everything. And so, yeah, I was always super impressed with that. So we always took that opportunity to like, oh, let's put Cypher System on the channel. Let's put Star Wars on the channel. Let's put Gamma on the channel. And then we could do, you know, then it also gave us the opportunity to shoot videos and talk about it as well.
Yeah, so there's always things that we have out there that we would like to do at some point in time, but it's a matter of, you know, finding someone who's willing to step up and run that material for us on a regular basis.
And then I think we're talking about doing Dungeon World. So as a one shot or a short arc.
Yes. Asa, one of our authors, is going to run that for us right now. We're looking at February 25th is going to be the first session of that game, if it winds up going further than just that one session.
Yeah, he was talking about it in the Discord chat. I was like, oh, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, so that's cool. We'll be able to get, I mean, you've played a game using the Apocalypse Engine. It'll be the first time for me. So that'll be really cool. It's another book like I started reading and just stopped. I don't know why. I like halfway read through the Dresden Files Fate book and stopped. I just get busy with other stuff and I just have trouble going back to it.
I don't learn systems or rules by reading. I have to sit and play the game. That's the way I'm going to pick it up. That's the way.
Yeah, like I'm totally all on board for like, oh, we're going to play this game. All right, I'll learn enough to make a character, show up with a character and be like, all right, let's play. And you're
tell me what I need to roll. Tell me what I need to do.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I'm going to try and do. Just tell me which dice to roll and work it out from there.
Yes. That's where I'm at.
Bards in the basement. You know what? We haven't been doing the roll calls because the chats have been so large. And I'm like dying like halfway through the roll call. So especially on the weekly chats we've been doing, We've been getting a ton of people showing up. You get 70, 80, 90, 100 people showing up, and then the live chat gets insane.
Yeah,
and it's like 5 to 10 minutes roll call.
Yeah, and then even we realize too when we get some like bigger name guests on, we're like, well, do you want to spend time saying where everyone's from, or do you want to ask Mike Merles another question? 2 questions.
And this week we got Nate here. I mean, come on, we'd rather talk to Nate, right?
Well, I mean, if that's what you want to do. Shallandor question. Have you guys ever thought about doing a one-shot of a game with one-page games like Honey Heist or All Outta Bubblegum?
I'm not familiar with those.
I've heard of them. I've not explored them.
I like the name All Outta Bubblegum. It piques my interest, actually.
I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum.
Yeah, because
I mean, you're all out.
So once you're out of bubblegum, you know what you got to do. Yeah. So, was there a live chat with Adam Cabal? Yes, there was. It's on the channel.
Yes, indeed. Maybe like 2-3 dozen live chats ago. I'm trying to remember when it happened.
Yeah,
a couple weeks ago, definitely.
That was definitely one where a lot of people showed up.
Chat can always do a roll call on your own. That's true. You may.
We will not stop you.
Yeah, go right ahead. I mean, you're
block. Like,
I gotta delete all these messages. I can't believe this. No, yeah, go right ahead. We've got our stuff going on here. We've got our interaction with what you're doing in chat, and then you've got your own thing you can do.
We understand that, so the chat has become its own entity.
Can we get a Warlock pack to that? To the chat. That actually makes more sense to me than the sentient weapon, to be honest with you.
But you interact with it through your phone.
Yeah.
So there you go. It's through this portal that you get access to
you
your Warlock patron.
I just have a tablet.
Okay.
You must interact with your device.
Yes, Ben. That was a long game, and I'm kind of tired from playing last night. Yes. We played a really long game with Jeff about a Pandelver. We're like going through the module, learning about Roll20 and some benefits and some kind of like learning curve for it, but it's interesting.
Oh, so were you actually playing in a game?
Yeah, I was playing in the game. It was like the second session, and we just said, we just want to finish this spot. So we just kept going, and then like another hour went by, and we're like, we just want to finish this spot. So another hour went by, and we're like, oh crap, we're all tired. I want to go to bed, but I want to finish this section.
So one of the players for my fan game next week is actually in your Hammer of the Mordanes game.
Oh yeah,
and he's actually going to have his character from my game be like the brother of the character in your game.
Oh yeah, the guy who plays Bard.
Yes.
All right, cool.
James says you just need more caffeine for those long games. Give it to me. Yeah.
That's why I get the half gallon of iced tea when I game.
So
the green tea's where it's really at.
Me and caffeine have a love-hate relationship. I enjoy coffee now, and I used to not like it at all, but I can't handle regular caffeinated coffee. So my wife will pour.
So Nate's going straight to amphetamines. I'm ready to game.
I'm ready to game forever.
Dave slams the tablet down.
That's how you have to know. He was in the thing. So she pours her little like 1 cup coffee thing, and then we'll pour my 1 cup coffee thing out of the same grounds. And it's like, it's enough coffee for me. And I feel like there's been less caffeination in there going on. And that seems to be the right amount of caffeine for me anymore since I've stopped taking Coke. Since I've stopped drinking Coke Zero, I have my caffeine levels like that I can stand are super, super low. So my tolerance for caffeine is super low now.
I sometimes drink 2 or 3 pots of coffee a day. I'll be like, I'm gonna have another cup of coffee. There's no coffee left. I guess I'll just make another pot.
I understand. I was up to a 2 liter of Coke Zero a day. At least 1 2 liter, and I was perfectly fine. But once I got completely out of caffeine, once I become decaffeinated, any about it, caffeine's like boom, 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 boom. So gets me jumping.
I'm just picturing Nate being filtered so that the caffeine all comes out of him. Caffeine is king, says Longshot. Yeah, that could definitely be a Warlock pact, I think.
Warlock pact the caffeine. So what would that
Warlock pact Expressario.
Haste, lots of haste. You definitely get the level of exhaustion afterwards.
Haste, mobility.
Fabricate the spell, you gain it, but you actually have to do the motions for it.
Yeah.
In 10 minutes. Yes, plate mail armor done. That'd be a great like Looney Tunes D&D game. Warlock Pact.
Well, there might be some better systems to play that with.
Yeah, this is true.
I wouldn't mind playing, doing, Ryan had talked about it in the past, but doing like a Mutants and Masterminds game, but we do like Tickverse.
Oh, man. Did they ever have any more episodes? I was watching that on Amazon. It was good.
I don't know if they put out another season or not. I would have to go back and check.
Yeah, I watched season 1. It was pretty hilarious.
Yeah. Definitely a fan.
I enjoyed that. I actually watched the game and it was up. It's up on YouTube somewhere. And it was the Tick universe, and it was like the Tick and Arthur and maybe someone else, and they were doing like tryouts for heroes. And I know Andrew Knapp's character, he was playing like this humanoid possum character, and like another one of the character was American Beard. So he would use like the beardomancy, and you punch people with his beard and stuff, and grapple them with his beard. And like the final battle. Andrew Knapp, I think, drives a motorcycle into the villain, and it explodes, and he falls off of it and plays dead, and waits to the last moment to pop up to attack him, but like spends like rounds and rounds playing dead.
Oh, that's amazing.
So Valor has a question. Dave, Nate, and Ted cast of Nerdarchy. How do you make good cities for D&D, and how do you organize them? Badly.
It depends on how much time you have, and if you remembered that your players were going to go to the city. Because recently I had to just kind of make up sections to have it work out and be like, all right, I know these 5 streets. I know what the city's kind of about, but I haven't like sat down and thought about it really hard. So I had to just had like the narrow where they were going. I was thinking up ideas for it, and that was it.
6 letters, 2 words, wing it.
that is how we do it. So like my Scarlet Sisterhood notes is sprawled across like 4 pages, and it's all things that I've written after we start playing, and it looks like someone just gave this to a lunatic in an asylum and they started writing. Because I like cleverly craft like these boxes of areas to organize and sort things for myself. And I'm like, why is this here? Why does it say plum and gold?
And then there's an arrow going someplace. I'm like, I don't think he's Mish.
I am super thankful that in my game, I actually have a player who in between sessions, because we only play once a month, he actually does like a summation of the last session. So like I can literally take those Google notes and be like, hey, this is what we did last session. Okay. Hey, well, that was something I really need to know about. Let's store that somewhere. And I can literally lift everything from that document and put into our mass Google Doc of Chimes of Discordia. So it's incredibly useful.
So I guess I'll give the rundown on my 2 cities, and then I'll kind of give you an explanation. So I've got a town, Stationton, which is a go-between a port city, which I have not described beyond it's a port city, Dresden, and then Azoria, which is the one that's above it. So it's like a 2-week split between the 2, traveling on a nicely done merchant road. So there's a stopping point a week into your travel, Stationton, and it's not big. It's kind of like a service station in a way. It's like a super gas station in a sense of a town. There's a town there, but there's also this kind of environment of getting the wagons ready, getting places for horses to graze, places for horses to be kept. So it's got that kind of higher city level activity, but it is really a throughway. There's about as many people that come around per season through this town as actually live there and around the surrounding area. So it's kind of like a convenience stop rather than a town with its own purpose and structure. So that's kind of the driving force behind how it looks like, how many farriers are there, how many, there's a blacksmith shop and that kind of thing. So it has more things available to spend money on there because it's on a merchant circle and it's got things going through it. and it needs to do like a lot of service industry stuff. But aside from that, it's like it would be a backwater town without this action always happening, people going and coming all the time. So, and then Azoria is an old mining city, but it's like a very ancient city, like 1,000 years old. It used to be a mining city, and now it is more just another stop along the large merchant circle track with all the other cities that participate in this. So there's like a commerce going on. So it can get pretty much anything it needs, but it also has like a history of how it kind of arose and what's in there and why it has walls and all that kind of stuff. So it kind of depends on, do you want to add a whole bunch of history to stuff and how it developed, or do you just want to kind of like plot out a grid system and say, oh, there was a fire like 200 years ago, so all the buildings are gone, and this is the way to design a city afterwards, and then bam, you're done. Grid system finished.
Thank you, Ben Franklin. So someone asked, contingency spell, and thanks to D&D Beyond, I quick searched it real quick. It is a 6th level evocation spell with a casting time of 10 minutes, range self, verbal somatic material, a statue of yourself carved from ivory and decorated with gems worth at least 1,500 gold pieces. Bam.
Does it get consumed when you cast it?
I don't know.
Because otherwise you got.
I didn't actually pull up. I just pulled up the search term.
Okay. Because otherwise you got to explain why you got one of those around.
Come on, man. Just because you need it.
I'm a famous wizard, and they sell these around the world.
The characters in my game, they all have fancy statues of themselves.
Yep.
Okay.
Of course, Assassin was using them to track them, but
hey,
then they ended up with it.
It was.
Dun dun dun.
Brian Smith, adventure. From your previously played characters, which one had the shortest adventuring career and what ended it? I mean, like, I've died in one-shots. I got eaten by a worm.
I don't think I've died in any one-shots. Because my monk in the Brigade Con game, I survived a whole session. Super happy about that.
Yeah, I think I lived through that as well.
Ranger Roy, Dave, are you guys working on season 3 of Save or Dice? That's a good question. And with that, we are right up on that hour mark.
So we really don't have time to get into an answer there. I'm really sorry.
You'll just have to keep watching season 2 to find out. So, hey guys, thanks for hanging out with us. It's awesome. We had like 60, 70 some people hanging out with us today, I think. Which we greatly appreciate you spending your Saturday afternoon with us.
As always, links and stuff are down below if you want to go support the channel or watch anything or check anything out that we previously did.
Oh, and we have that new Discord thing going on.
Come hang out with us on Discord.
Yes. Come cause some Discord. So until next time, guys,
Stay nerdy.